What is going on, guys? It is DigiWatch TCG coming to you with another deck profile. Now, I'm here with David Tram, who actually just came in 13th in the top 16 for the Carta Magica Regionals for the month of April. David, what did you play?
I play the most boring aggro deck in the meta, which is Xros Hearts. No, just kidding. Just Xros Hearts, the X7 version. There's no Mervas in here, no purple cards in here. But yeah, it's just straight Xros Hearts using X7s.
All right, take it away.
Okay. Starting with the eggs, you should be playing these Pikmons. If you're not, I think there's something wrong with you. Um, no, jokes aside, just four Pikmons, just the four Pikmons, that's it. And yep, that's the only egg you need to worry about. Next, we have the rookies. Now, this ratio could be different if you're using Star Swords. I did not use Star Swords, so my rookie base is pretty straightforward. We have four Starmons, we have four Shoutmons, and four Sparrows. Now, if you do want to play Star Sword, you could do one less Sparrow if you want, or maybe add a Starmon, Star Sword, Shoutmon, Star Sword, whatever it's called, and you have like maybe one extra rookie. Again, play with that however you wish, but my rookie count was pretty much like these three as a playset of each. So there's that. Of course, the best card in the game, well, not for the game, the deck. One X4, you should only have one. If you have more than one, don't do that because it got restricted to one. It's honestly one of the best cards in the deck. Like, it's straight up draw two for potentially a cost of one. And once you do your attack, you draw from Starmon, get like 3 cards total out of all that. Akari just like will plus you. We'll go to Akari later. And on the end of the attack, you get to unsuspend one of your tamers, save all the materials, and you can like do another attack as a setup, which is honestly why I can see why this card got restricted. It's just really good. I play one copy of King Mode. Good recursion piece. If I ever need to get the best card again, I could definitely do that. If I need to get my other cross pieces, cross fusion pieces, whatever you want to call them, the King Mode could grab them. And also, there are times where, hey, I pay 3 King Mode with Shoutmon for a game. That has happened.
Yeah, like
And
hybrid for game.
honestly, yeah. It's basically hybrid for game for Xros Hearts. So I play one King Mode. Also, if you are passing turn, you could just use this King Mode, give your whatever Shoutmon cross whatever plus 2k on your next turn, which is pretty good, honestly. And yep, there's that. Next, we have 3 copies of X3s. Some people play 4. I just play 3. I think like these 3 plus X4 is good enough. You search the top 3, get a blue flare, crossheart. Yep. 2 cards with crosshearts with blue flare. Add them to your hand, and then you get to attack if you have the setup, the Shoutmon, the Ballistamon, and the Darulu. And yeah, this is not as good as X4, but however, this has a nice upside. I like this card in the blue flare matchup because if they were the freeze or stack, you're like, okay, delete it, gain a memory. That's pretty gas. So yeah, I really like these X3s. And I think 3 is fine. If you want to play 4, go ahead and try it. Okay, these level 4s are pretty straightforward. For Darulu, he's your main like early game removal piece. Get rid of the Psychmons, the Solar Mons, the Chikuri Mons, any floodgates that you want to just get rid of, just like zap them with the Rulu. So I really like this one. Also makes your security swings just super easy with like minus 2k to all their security Digimon. Just nice. And I actually found a lot of cool things to do with Ballistamon. We play 4 Ballistamons. The piercing does come up. I actually was in a match with Bloom Flare, not Bloom Flare, Bloom Lord. And whenever they had like a suspended Digimon, if you have Ballista and your guy is definitely bigger, you pierce it, and then you still get your checks, which is very good. Like, there was a match against Bloom Lord where they had like a suspended like rookie or level 4 pretty early because they're trying to set up. I was like, okay, form something with Ballista, swing over, still get my check, get all my effects, and honestly, that's like really awesome. The piercing also definitely comes up in the mirror match when they have a suspended X3, so that's pretty good as well. So yep, just 4 Darulu, 4 Ballistas, and we'll just put them to the side here. Okay, moving on to our level 5s. 2 copies of Omni Shoutmon. I actually raised this from 1 to 2 because I realized X7 is a really good card. So I figured, okay, let's just try to increase the chances to make it happen. I haven't ran into the situation where you could actually evo from a Shoutmon into Omni Shoutmon to pop some 4K or lesses. I haven't used that. I kind of wish I did for some moments, but it didn't feel right. So I never got a chance to use that effect. But otherwise, this is a piece for your X7. The Heritable gives any Shoutmon +1 security check. So if you actually don't have X7s, you have your other crosses like X3, X4, X5, and of course well, actually no, we know X7. X5, X4, X3 will get an extra security plus if you're passing turn. So next turn you get to swing for 2 hits. So it's actually not bad to substitute these for a Shoutmon if you're passing turn. So there's that. Next is the Shoutmon X5s. I played 3. I played 3 because I had the main room for Omni Shoutmon and of course coming up Z Gregmon and of course X7s. So I was playing 4. I did some shuffling around and I ended up with 3 X5s at the end. This guy was honestly one of the reasons why I won a lot of my matches because it's either a really, really cheap cross for like maybe 2, or, you know, famously, X5 for 0, swing for 2 checks, and then reboot, and now he's standing as a blocker. I always like X5. I still think he's also one of the best cards in the Crossheart archetype. And yeah, I played him at 3. I know some people dropped him down to 2 for the Merv attack or whatever, but I think 3 is actually pretty solid. Okay, moving on to our level 6s, we have 2 copies of Z Gregmon. Again, same as Omni Shoutmon, I wanted to make X7, oh, look at you behold, happen more often. So I actually increased it from 1 to 2. And honestly, it kind of sucks that Taiki misses this card entirely. We either have to have X3 grab it or hard draw it. So it was kind of rough when Taiki flipped over a Z Greg, and I'm like, oh, I guess we'll never see that card again, maybe. So I bumped it up to 2 so that we have a better chance of making X7 into a blocker, and that has helped me quite a bit. A restanding blocker, and if it has security +2 on the next turn, that's like pretty good. So definitely, I'm kind of glad I got 2 Z Gregs. Another thing you can do with him, again, this hasn't come up, you can Evo on top of a level 5, like your X5s or your Omni Shoutmons, and then you get I think just the unsuspending effect. Oh. Never mind. I guess, again, I never had the situation came up where I had like an X5 or Omni Shoutmon on field, but you can, if you really want to, Evo Z Gregmon onto one of them, and then if they have 2 bodies, you get 2 memory, but you still get the unsuspend. So this could have been another way to get an extra check-in, but that never really came up. If it's something that has come up for people, that's honestly really cool. But yeah, 2 copies of Z Gregs. All right, and then 2 copies of our big boy boss, Shoutmon X7. This guy has saved me a lot. It is basically Gaia Force on a body. The max DP you could reach is 16k, which is almost anything in the game. Blow up Blackboard Greymon with no protection, blow up Bloom Lord, blow up a Hydramon, blow up an O-Force, blow up any Mega that is going to give you trouble. And the fact that you could just like fuse it together with all the cross pieces is just really good. Downside is that you can't use any shoutmon. It has to be Omni shoutmon. But I made crosses with just the Z Greg and some pieces, no Z Greg and some pieces, just to like quickly kill something. And since it's a Digimon effect, it gets around like for famously, for example, Black or Greymon X, if they have option protection, but if they don't have like the right setup, they just have the option protection, then you could use X7 to just blow up the Mega, and then now they have to start over. And yeah, if you have the perfect stack, it's a security that goes for 2 checks and also a blocker with all the good stuff.
So
Yep,
before we
just 2
get to the
X7s.
tamers, I just want to ask, how many times would you say like you were actually able to get a full perfect stack where it's like you get the, I guess it's two to play, and then like you have all the other pieces in hand.
I think it happened like 3 to 4 times. With the amount of drawing and amount of searching you do, it's very likely to happen. Like there was only a handful of times where I didn't have all the pieces, but I think total in my run through the regional, I want to say at least 3 to 4 times it has happened. It was like the perfect stack. But definitely, I want to say it was pretty lucky that I managed to get the Z Greymons. Actually, yeah, Z Greymon is the hardest piece to get because I believe Omni Shout is a cross heart. Yep, Omni Shout mod is a cross heart, so it's way easier to get Omni Shout. Zeeg is the only tricky one. So if I ever have a Zeeg in my hand, I kind of want to keep it and hope to God that it doesn't pop up in late searches. So definitely, it does happen. It's not impossible. That's why I increased the count from 1 to 2 to make it happen. And honestly, I'm kind of glad I did. I'm actually pretty glad I did. Any other questions?
No, no, that answered my question. I just kind of I'm personally not someone who would play cross, but I've definitely played and lost against a bunch of different players. So it's really interesting to hear your take on the deck and all the choices for it. But yeah, you can continue. You can go into the
Okay.
tamers.
All right, Tamers, pretty straightforward. It's 4 Taikis, literally the best crossheart searcher in your deck. Next to Shoutmon, but this one goes 1 card deeper for 3. He also enables the use of your pieces under your Tamers when they get saved. So honestly, like I can't see anyone playing less than 4 Taiki. Like you are playing 4 Taiki. So there's that. This is where it starts to get a little different. I still play a memory tamer. I have 1 tie. And I remember in one of my matches against a crossheart mirror. Oh yeah. Let me just quickly go over my matches. So it was cross, blue flare, cross, Merva rush. Not cross Merva, just Merva. Cross, and bloom. So yeah, for every 2 crosshearts matches, I had 1 different match. So I was very annoyed, to say the least. I was very annoyed, but it's fine. We got through it. But no, I had it. But the reason why I brought that up is like I think it happened to either my second or third crossheart mirror. They saw me play tie, and they were like, "Oh, that is interesting." Well, it actually helped me out a lot because now they can't choke me with the Zenjiro shenanigans. And now my X4s, my X5s, and my X7s now can possibly go for B checks, which is very good. Like, I think it's very good. Also, I personally never like getting memory choked ever. In my entire history of playing Digimon, I never like getting memory choked. So I always still believe play the 1 memory tamer. You could also argue you could play Kiria, but I think Tai is good because we already have like the Taikis and the new trio tamers. So I don't think we really need Kiria. But since I really wanted to make sure like I don't get choked, I still kept the Tai. And honestly, there was a game where I actually had an X7 go for 3 checks. It cleared them out. Then I just quickly did a cross 3 and just go for game. So I think Tai is still a good candidate for a slot. I understand many decks just drop him or drop memory tamers entirely, but I firmly still believe if you want a memory tamer, I think Tai is just a really strong candidate. All right. Next, we go to our 3 Akaris. I used to have her at 2, but then I felt like I wasn't seeing her enough. And also, she is just a really cheap way to get Durulu to zap a floodgate. So I actually really like Akari for that reason. So I bumped her back up to 3. 3 is enough to see her, and also I think minimum you just need 2. So I think 3 is kind of like the best way to ensure like you can get 2 on field and then you keep 1 in your hand just in case you need to quickly do a Durulu. Or even better, you already drew a bunch, you have 1 Akari out, she's been doing a lot of work, and then you just save these 2 in your hand for just in case you want to do Durulu. So that's really good. So that's another way I could view Akari. It's like Akari is just like another Durulu, as well as, oh, she's my card engine, like another small card engine. So really like her. Also make all my like early cross plays a little bit better because there were times where I didn't have Zenjiro or Taiki and stuff. So the best I could do was just play like Durulus or play Ballistas. She was able to like, draw me out of situations because every time you play, suspend her to just draw a card if you play a Digimon with Cross Hearts. So definitely useful to get you out of a bricky situation if that's all you had at the beginning. And now we get into our 3 Zenjiros. I actually minus Zenjiro to 2 before, but again, same reason as Akari. 3 feels good to see him and also just have at least 2 on field to just help really just keep it your turn, enable more cross plays, give you more flexibility with your cross plays. So I really like him. And also in terms of security bombs, he's like the second best compared to Taiki because sometimes you just hit him from security and you get the summon Ballistamon. Now you have a blocker, or now it's an extra attacker on your next turn, which is really good. But yeah, nothing much to say about Zenjiro besides he's just really good as a memory extender and also just helping you make your crossplays more memory efficient. All right, another difference. I only played 2 of the trio tamers. I see many decks with 3. I think 3 is also pretty good. But I did cut 1 out to make space for other things, as we're about to see. I feel like 2 is pretty good because I feel like this sort of supplements as if I had an Akari and a Zenjiro and a Taiki at the same time. So since I kind of figured like I already have like 3 Zenjiros, 4 Taikis, 3 Akaris, and a memory tamer, which is Tai, I don't think I need the third one. And maybe 2 is enough to get me by, which was yes. There were times where I wished I had a third one, but just for like, making sure I could see it. But I think 2 was enough for me as a minimum. Of course, if you want to put it at 3, go ahead. But 2 was enough to serve me this regional. Personally, I feel. All right, now we're going to get to the bigger differences. A lot of the Merva variants and other X7 variants stop playing security bombs, stop playing options that involves like killing something. I think like all the Mervas are playing like, the blinding rays, the gravity crushes, and a reinforcing memory boost. They don't play any kill spells. I actually still play kill spells. Watch me use magic terms. Kill options. So for the last 3 cards of the deck, we have 1 Crimson Blaze and 2. I'm gonna butcher this name. Lonky Adiskatko, whatever, however you pronounce it. Lonky. There we go. Yeah. Lonky. It's kind of like how people it's like.
I think it's called.
Oh God, I don't know how to pronounce that. Anyway, it's like people try to say like whatever that sauce, that Worcestershire sauce. Yeah, there we go. It's like people messing that up all the time. That's basically it for Digimon. That's our version of Worcestershire sauce, where people just mess it up all the time, and we already know what it means. Anyways, so I play 1 Crimson Blaze because it was kind of like a soft way to deal with the Merva matchups, because if they were to fill their board with like, a Psychmon or like other like cross pieces, most of the crosses are 6k or below minus X4. So this is really nice to be like 3 or less, kill everything off. Now you only have one blocker that you can easily just bypass. So I actually really like Crimson Blaze. Also is unaffected by Psychmon. So this could be like 0. I actually had the pure Merva deck versus me. He actually had a Death X, a Psychmon, a Mervamon, a random thing, and another random thing. Like they have retaliation. They're able to block. I think it was an Ignite Mon. But anyways. So 5 things on board. I just played this for 1, blew up the Psychmon, and of course the other blockers. And then that was allowing me to just do X7 to just blow up the Mervamon and go in for games. So I really like Crimson Blaze. Actually, same matchup too. I suspected that he was playing Mervamon. This was game 1. And I saw he just had a Gazimon out with a lot of memory boost that I gave him from security. I had an inkling that he might do Merva. So I actually just played Crimson Blaze for 5, set him to 4. And after I did that, since this lasts until the end of your opponent's turn when used from hand, from security is just to the end of their turn. But if used from hand, that is to the end of their turn. So that means his Mervamon is not able to bring back anything. He can Merva, but it's not going to bring back anything. So he actually just did Merva for cheap and then just hard play something and then pass turn. And thanks to this card, I was able to seal that game pretty quickly. The Lonky Attestados, Lonky, whatever. I'm not going to go into it. This saved my ass a few times. I actually was against like an X7 trying to run into my security, and thankfully, this was the 4th card from security. So if you guys didn't know, if you're above 3 life, you get the minus 12k. If you're below 3 life, you get to send the Digimon to their security at the top. If you're exactly at 3, you get both. So thankfully, this was the 4th card that he hit at security, which means I get both effects. So I was able to send his X7 to security, and turns out it was pretty brutal. Pretty brutal. So yeah, also there was moments where if I knew my opponent had like really low cards, like for the cross mirror or whatever, I would be like just lunky and then just set him back and make him start over and see like what his like 2-3 card hand can do. But yeah, I still like my kill options because I believe they do come up. Do I wish it was like a Death X or like more Digimon, for example? Like, yeah, of course. But me personally, I like having some security bombs because just in case anything happens, maybe my security will be a Lunky. And then hopefully it could give me back the tempo I need to like reset myself or buy me like an extra turn or 2. And yeah, that's the deck.
Nice. So, I guess like first, congratulations, of course, for getting 13th and getting your nationals invite, for the
Thank you.
2023 season when we get there.
Mhm.
And right now, would you make any changes after playing for something like 8 or 9 hours? Would you have made any changes, looking back at the deck, or do you feel like this was exactly the way you wouldn't change anything?
There's definitely a lot of times where I felt like I should have had like a Death X or even like one Mervamon. Not do the whole Mervamon like with the blinding rays and the gravity crushes. No, no, no. I don't like that version. But Mervamon as a tech, I kind of wish I had one because seeing how it plays out, like besides the blinding ray shenanigans, having Mervamon as a backup plan for like, okay, I have nothing on board, I have no cards in my hand, what can I do? At least this Mervamon can use like, say, a Sparrowmon from your trash, and now you could cross into that, bring back like say your X3 and X4, you cross, and then now you can draw cards, find pieces, and if your opponent can't do anything, you have 3 blockers or 3 attackers ready to go. So I think I would have done at least one Mervamon, just so that just in case anything happens, I have that extra chance. Death X was like another consideration I wish I had, but it only came up in one game where I actually needed it, and of course it was against the Mervamon version of Cross Hearts. Like, yeah, of course. Like, I kind of wish I had it because then I could have Death X, got rid of the blockers, and then, been on my merry way. But of course, that was like one moment out of like so many games I played. More games I had that I was like, I don't need that dex. Versus like that one moment that I was like, I wish I had it. Also, Death X is not searchable. You have to hard draw it. God forbid it's in your security. You can't even have it anymore. So I was like always iffy about Death X being back in the deck because it's like, it's nice, but I also like I don't really care for it that much. It's a nice card. Like it's still a powerful card. I wish I had it for that one moment, but whatever. And I do miss my fireballs. I used to run fireball religiously in Cross Hearts before I did the regional, but the Trio Tamers, the Akaris, the X3s, I felt like I think maybe we have enough card draw. I could drop those and then put in the Z Gregmons and put in the Omni Shoutmon, put in the sevens, and of course like add like Lunky instead, and of course Crimson Blaze. So yeah, that was kind of like those were the only three cards I thought about. Would I have liked them? I mean, yeah, of course. Like I love passing turn just drawing two cards. Like that is just gas to me. Like I love drawing cards. Like who doesn't? But I think the base deck does well enough in card draw and searching that maybe Fireball was not needed. Death X, to recap again, like it would have been nice, but I know it's not needed because I never felt like I needed it. But definitely, I would like to put in one Mervamon because I think one Mervamon as a tech, or two, if you really want to, is nice because she's searchable. I keep forgetting she's searchable. And it's a nice way to repopulate your board and also like refill your hand because you just bring back X4 and X3 and you can draw like four cards out of it. So I think it's pretty good.
All right. And the last question, moving forward, do you think you're going to be playing this deck for any events or anything for BT 13, 13, 11 or 12?
PT11, I think if there's any like last events I'm willing to do, like I think I have one more event. I'm not sure. I could be wrong. But if I did have one more event, I think I would still play Cross Hearts because I think BP12 is a time for like, more exploration, more experimentation. I think I would be playing like Shine Greymon or just trying out other decks too, like Hunters, Quartzmon, Arrestor, Dramon Superior Mode. I would still try Cross Hearts because we get the I think it's called a Shoutmon Superior Mode or something. Like I think that's what it's called.
Yeah,
Like
that's
then
what it's
I'm
called.
okay. Yeah, I'm willing to try it. Also, there's like some maybe like little text we can try with Cross Hearts with the new Hunters Digimon. Maybe not too many, but maybe as like tech cards. But I think probably for BT12, I think I will be exploring other decks. I'll put Cross Hearts to the side. But if there was an event that calls for it, definitely I'll pick up Cross Hearts again.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much for being on the channel. I really much appreciate it. And again, congratulations on your win and your national invite.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right.